Hey guys, back with more SPL content. It has been a privilege to be able to play 3 different SPL games. I really didn't know that I was going to play any. After all, I was not even in the original draft. But here I am playing my 3rd game, and it's awesome. And we're coming in with a 1-1 record, a loss to Marco P, a victory over Alexander. This is week 8 against Tamahome, who I have known forever. He was one of the first guys that I met when I got into competitive Pokemon back in like 2011-ish. He and I used to play back when PO was the current simulator. He and I used to play together all the time. We have not played in recent years, certainly not in a competitive setting, but we've kept in touch. He was in my most recent CALLOUS Invitational Tour. I hope that he is in this upcoming one as well. He's just someone I've known for a long time and I have a lot of respect for. Very, very good player. His results speak for themselves. The cool thing about this week from my end is that I actually got a full week to prep. Now, granted, is that going to give me the edge and make me better than a legendary player in Tama, who was also the ADV Cup champion this most recent year, by the way? Probably not. But at least it's not a thrown in there 5 minutes before the way that both of my previous matches were. So I got all week to think about this, and I thought about various things that I could bring. I thought about trying to go for trappers and trying to get cute and trying to match up fish in that way. But you know what? I decided to just play a straight up game, keep it straightforward, keep it simple, just play a solid team that's pretty good against the field, and just play the damn game and see what happens. So that's what I did, and here is how our game went. So I'm on the bottom, CALLOUS X, that's me. I hate the X, but some douchebag other than me registered CALLOUS and they didn't let me change it, so CALLOUS X against Tama. So the standard T-Tar and T-Tar play is to go to Skarm if you have it, which is what I did here. He's going to go to Fortress, which is not surprising because I've opted to bring spikes in both of my previous weeks. I'm a general spike spammer, so the fact that I have that, really not so surprising. The fact that he's bringing Fortress, really not so surprising. So we are going to go for the standard spikes here. He's going to do the same. There's no reason not to. It becomes a mind game immediately on this turn, right? Because if he thinks I'm going to spike again, he should spin. If he thinks I'm going to go to Gengar, he should spike. There's also the possibility of Whirlwind here. If I Whirlwind him out on a spike, that's okay. If I Whirlwind him out on a spin, But there's a couple of different things. I don't think he's going to Magneton because Magneton and Fortress are very rarely together. It's possible, obviously. It's so early on he could have fucking anything, but it's really unlikely. It's looking like some kind of just standard 4E TSS. He may have like a Blissey, a Pert, Gengar, Dougie, that kind of thing in the back. It could also be like a double water team, like the one that Undisputed built that Sunny used to use a lot. I don't know how popular it is now. It could also be a Venusaur build, but some kind of 4E TSS. So, Spike Slayer number 2, and he does just go for Rapid Spin, doesn't play around the Ghost, so that's the bad outcome for me. Had I gone for the Ghost there, maybe I could keep spikes down, but now, unfortunately, it's going to be difficult to do. I basically have to go to the Ghost now to prevent the Rapid Spin. I think that that's too obvious, so I spike, he Rapid Spins again. So again, maybe I should have gone to the Ghost there. We're playing around all sorts of things. I know that he has T-Tar here, right? And it's paired with Fortress, so it's almost certainly a Pursuit Tar, so it's very dangerous to get Gengar into the Pursuit Tar, so I'm just kind of trying to play the mind game here. Maybe if he switched to Pursuit Tar there, the better play would have been Spikes, but so far Tama has simply outpredicted me and just stayed in there and spun over and over again, so he's winning the mind game so far. My Taunt is going to prevent Spikes, but he just went for Rapid Spin, and pretty much he's just going to sit in here and spin forever. He's got to be pretty content on his end with his 2 spikes versus 0 spikes lead. If I'm him, I'd be pretty happy. I don't see the need for him to get greedy here. If he gets a 3rd layer, that's fantastic. But does he really need it? He's just, yeah, I mean, he's got 2 layers down. He's preventing me from getting any layers down. From his end, I really don't see too much to do here. I try it over and over and over again, just trying to be patient. I keep spiking, he keeps spinning. I try it for many turns in a row, simply hoping that one time he makes a prediction kind of play, switches it up, goes for spikes, goes for a switch, whatever it may be. I'm not going to do this until we run out of HP, or PP rather, but I try it over and over and over. I forget how many turns, 7, 8, however many turns in a row, before eventually conceding, okay, he's not going to make a prediction. We gave him many opportunities, so he's not going to do anything here other than spike, or spin rather, over and over again. I need to make some kind of switch. So I go to Moltres, which is obviously offensively threatening to Fori. Unsurprisingly, he's got a Bliss on the back. We're going to catch something Blissey, as it turns out, with Will-O-Wisp on the switch, and Moltres really can't threaten Bliss. I mean, maybe it's cute if I have sub or something here, or go for like a big boy overheat, but none of that's going on here. We're just going to go to Skarm. He is going to Thunder Wave that, which is fine, and I'm just going to try to reestablish spikes. So unsurprisingly, Fori comes in. I do get a spike down through the paralysis, and now it's the mind game of whether you go to Gar or not to protect it. Tama makes a nice double switch and outpredicts me and gets his Crunch Pursuit T-Tar into the Gengar. And unfortunately, this is a pretty bad matchup team-wise for me. This is a spike-reliant team that has Gengar to block the spin rather. And unfortunately, I do not have Dugtrio. So Fori plus Crunch Pursuit Tar is a pretty bad matchup. I don't know if that is dumb coincidence or if this is Tama just being ahead of me and knowing the kind of thing that I was going to use or what, but as it turns out, this is not what I want to see. If I had a Dugtrio, maybe this would be a little different, but I don't, and now I'm pretty much inevitably going to use the Gengar. So it really just becomes, what am I allowed to do on the way out before he kills me? I'm going to go for Will-O-Wisp. I'm going to connect. He's going to pursue it. It's going to do 41%. So now we have a little mind game on this turn. Is he going to switch it up to Crunch, or is he going to go for Pursuit again? I'm just you can see in the description, I'm just Taunt Wow, Thunderbolt, Ice Punch. So I mean, I don't have a meaningful attack here. If I had Giga Drain, probably I would stay in and do that, but I don't. So the only thing I could do is stay in and Thunderbolt. I'm going to opt for the switch, not because I don't know that he has Pursuit, obviously. He just showed it, but because I'm hoping that he switches it up and goes to Crunch instead. That is not the case. I die to Pursuit, and down goes the Gengar. I find myself in a 5-6 hole. Alrighty, so it's going to be difficult going forward to protect those spikes. This matchup seems pretty hard to begin with, and it just got harder. I at least make a nice little double switch here to prompt something out that the Moltres is good against, such as the Fortress or this previously unrevealed Venusaur. Venusaur's fine. Moltres going to have an opportunity for free damage, and we're going to go for Roar, and that's going to drag out something. Something turns out to be Swampert. That's fine. Moltres does have HP Grass, so maybe I can get a little damage done here if I can make good predictions. Blissey going to step on spikes, and unfortunately I am wrong on this prediction. Looks like Roar again would have been the better play, but I went for the hidden power into the Swampert, so I'm going to lose any tempo that I might have been gaining in that sequence. So I'm going to go to Celebi here. My opponent, Tama, is going to go for the obvious soft-boiled. I think there was not really any other play there. I'm going to get out-predicted here as well. I was hoping that he would switch in the Fortress there into the Celebi, or he would simply stay in. I thought that me going for Leech Seed, I thought that him going to either Venusaur or Fori on the Leech Seed would have been a good play, but unfortunately he stayed in, just went for T-Wave and hit my Moltres, so that was a bad turn for me. I got out-predicted. I went to Celebi here, and he's going to connect with Seismic Toss. I know that Celebi is not in any danger here. So now he's going to go to Fortress on my more or less obligatory recover turn. And there's really nothing I can do to stop the Rapid Spin here. So I'm just going to have to figure out what's the best thing I can do knowing that a Rapid Spin is coming. And I'm going to opt for the Moltres here. So there's the spin. Can't stop it. No Gengar to block it. I could potentially reestablish spikes later in the game, but Fori can come in on Skarm all day, so it's going to be really, really hard to get spikes down. I make a double switch to attempt to get a layer down here, but again, the problem that I just illustrated, yes, I could spike here, and even if it gets off through paralysis, which it does, what is to stop the Fortress from coming in? And the answer seems to be nothing. So I go to Moltres here, he rapid spins, it's gone. I gain 0 ground by doing this, and in fact I lose a little bit of ground because the Moltres, even though Rapid Spin is very little damage, it does add up over time because the Moltres, remember, is not gaining leftovers through that sand. So that Rapid Spin damage, tiny as it is, does add up and does stay on the Moltres. So now I'm going to go to T-Tar. Here's a new plan. I'm going to attempt to do some damage this way. I'm going to get the T-Tar in either on the Blissey or the Fortress. That's fine. So maybe now T-Tar can get something done, trying to claw my way back into this game. We're going to opt for Focus Punch. He switches. This is good. He goes to Swampert, and this gives me an opportunity to land a crit or some kind of BS, or at least chip away at the Swampert. 39%, not too bad. Nevertheless, I need to get out of the way. Celebi is by far my best switch. He knows that I'm going to switch, and he roars me, and we end up with Swampert on Swampert. It is Monopert on my end, as you can see in the description here. He's going to opt for the Protect. That's fine. I went for the straightforward Toxic, so both of us are going to gain lefties. However, now that he knows that I have that, both the Venusaur and the Fori switch for him become more appealing. So I went to Skarm, and he went to the Toxic Immune Venusaur. So once again, I have an opportunity to spike up. That part's not the problem. The problem is how do I deal with the inevitable Fortress. This time I get ahead of it, and I go to Moltres here because I knew that Fortress was coming in, and I try to do a little bit of damage that way. He goes for the obvious Bliss switch. I believe I simply went for Will-O-Wisp there, but it wouldn't have mattered too much if it hit, and there's a good chance to not hit between the base accuracy and the paralysis. Full power does kick in. There is no Will-O-Wisp. Celebi coming into the Blissey here, eats Seismic Toss. It is another obligatory recover turn from me, so he can switch to whatever he wants. He opts to simply stay in and go for the T-Wave. Not a huge deal on the Celebi, but I mean, lack of anything better to do for him, I suppose. Just whittling me down here. Before he comes in at this point, he still has not set up that third layer of spikes, but if he wants to do so on this turn, there is nothing preventing it. Celebi cannot threaten Fortress in any meaningful way, and he knows that. All I can do is get out of the way, go to Moltres. He does set up that third layer of spikes. The one good thing that comes out of this turn, if there is any silver lining, is that the Leech Seed here is going to at least give Moltres a little bit of health back. But clearly, I'm behind here. There's just no way around that. It's pretty obvious that I'm in some rough shape here, and it's going to be really hard to claw back in. Fori is going to religiously come into my Skarm, as it has been, and there's very little I can do. Now, I keep double switching to set this up and get Moltres in, but it's such a slow chip away on Bliss. Maybe I could set up a triple switch where from Moltres I go to T-Tar and get that in on the Blissey, but it's going to take some kind of sequence like that. Some kind of double or probably triple switch from me with perfect prediction to even chip away at things. I am really behind right now. So we get the Will-O-Wisp off. T-Tar comes in on Soft Boiled. I will once again have a prediction opportunity to do some damage. Gonna go for the Focus Punch. Once again, Tama gets out of the way. Venusaur comes in, takes it okay, takes about a third. It is fighting resistant thanks to the poison typing. It's probably faster than me. Leftovers say that it's faster than me, so I have to be careful about Sleep Powder. I switch to Moltres here because it's very safe against basically anything Venusaur can do. Giga Drain, HP Fire, HP Ice, Sleep Powder. The only thing I really would have cared about there is Leech Seed, which would have been annoying. He went for Giga Drain, no big deal. Moltres takes it like a champ with the 4x resist. And I'm going to get T-Tar in on the Blissey switch, which was the hope. But once again, I have to make a prediction. It's going to be Swampert this time, and it's going to be Rock Slide. So I am incorrect on this prediction. Tama reads the move correctly, and now T-Tar, who's getting pretty low, is going to have to get out of the way. Here comes Skarm. There is a swing and a miss on an Earthquake. I'll take that. And it's the same thing. I mean, I could spike here, but nothing preventing Fortress. Speak of the devil, here he is. And I do get the one layer down here, but what's to stop Rapid Spin? You guys know the answer. Nothing. And in fact, shockingly, there is the Rapid Spin. So it's really hard for me to find opportunities to chip my way back into this game. I'm pretty locked out of this, and a lot of things are going to have to go right. Flamethrower there just for the sake of changing it up, But Tom is doing the right thing. He's taking zero risks. He's not changing it up. He's just playing very straightforward lines. Every single time he sees Pokemon A, he switches in Pokemon B. Every time he sees Skarm, he goes to Fortress. Every time he sees Moltres, he goes to Blissey. Very straightforward, but really, I mean, should he be doing something else? Is that not the right play from his end? And the answer is that it is, and it's very hard for me to break. He's just going with a straightforward strategy and challenging me to try to break it, and thus far, I have not been able to do that. Leech Seed is going to obnoxiously miss after a soft boil turn. I am paralyzed there, so there's a decent shot to miss that, but it's still annoying. I could use all the luck that I can get, given how behind I am. I can also use all the PP that I can get. But nevertheless, Leech Seed is going to connect the second time. This is a go-nowhere matchup for both parties. Neither one can kill each other. Fortress is going to come in at this point. Going to be another missed, obnoxious Leech Seed. But again, more annoying than relevant. Not a huge deal. What is Celebi really going to do to Fortress? So Skarm comes in. I would really love for him to make a greedy Fortress play and boom on me. I don't think that he's going to do that. I think that Tama is better than that and not going to screw up in that way. But I need to play for some kind of greed or some kind of choke. Otherwise, I really can't win. So here's an opportunity for potential greed that I can capitalize on. So it's obviously a special tower. It has Crunch Pursuit. We haven't actually seen Fire Blast or Flamethrower. But if he has one of those, maybe because I have Skarm here, I can entice him to stay in and I can get a spike down. And I will absolutely trade a spike for some Flamethrower or Fire Blast damage at this point. Absolutely, because getting that one spike down is critical to my comeback victory, because then it at least allows me the chance, even if I have to be precise, to get the Moltres in every time the Fortress comes in, and I can keep that damn spike down. So that is what we're playing for here. Here is the Fire Blast. He finally gives me an opportunity, and dumb, stupid fucking paralysis kicks in at an obnoxious time and denies me the opportunity to get the spike down. I can't even protect on the following turn. It is 2 full powers in a row. That absolutely sucks. And now I am really, really in trouble, as if I weren't already before. I am now in super duper trouble. Might get 6-0'd at this point. It's not looking pretty. Here comes Venusaur. Failed protect on my end. Not what I need. I can protect again for more lefties, but it does not solve the bigger picture issue here. There's no reason for me not to protect, so I do. It's just free leftovers for Swampert, which, I mean, his HP very well may matter down the road, depending on the last poke from Tama's end. On my build and on Lanier's build, it's Aerodactyl, but I've also seen Moltres as the last poke. I've seen Heracross on this kind of team. Could even be like a random Salamence or something like that. Arrow's the most likely thing, but I mean, at this rate, he's not even going to need his last poke to beat me. So Celebi is going to come in on the Giga Drain. I will once again have a BS opportunity here. I see from the sand that he's faster, so I'm going to need a Sleep Powder miss and an attack here to either rock his world with a crit, Specs drop, something. And that turn goes the way that I need it to go. He misses Sleep Powder, and I get a Psychic crit, which is absolutely ideal on that turn. So that was a huge one. So it gives me just a glimmer of hope that I can come back, but I still think I'm miles and miles and miles behind. Obviously, I'm down a poke. He's got 3 layers. I don't. His shit's healthier. He has hard counters to some of my stuff. It's still a super, super, super uphill battle. He shows Aerodactyl here. I don't have a great switch. T-Tar is at 46%, and there's 3 layers of spikes down. Moltres is paralyzed due to my mistake earlier. I made a greedy prediction on a double switch that did not come to be, so Moltres got hit with a T-Wave. Swampert's healthy at 80%. Celebi, as you can see, 59%. Not a lot of good options here. Celebi is going to stay in, go for a cover, scout the move. He's never going to get a chance to do so. Celebi would have had a great chance there, actually, to live anything other than Hidden Power, so hopefully, had he gone Rock Slide, Earthquake, Double Edge there, any of those, Celebi would have survived, gone for a cover. I would know what the move is, and I can go from there. Instead, he went for Hidden Power, either Bug or Flying, killed the Celebi, and now I'm even further behind, 3-5. And yeah, my options are becoming very, very limited. Swampert's going to be my guy. We're going to go for Surf here, 26%, trying to play it aggressive. The only way that I'm going to get out of this is if I can predict the Explosion turn and protect against it. I opt for Surf again. He goes for Earthquake there, 14%. Obviously more damage coming from my end, but the key here is to not get blown up on. There's Protect, trying to scout for it. And I am correct this time. I predict the Explosion turn, and Tama blows up into a Protect. Gives me a little bit of a window here. Maybe we can make this comeback. Now Blissey comes in. I go for Toxic. Fine and well. I can beat this Blissey 1v1, potentially. Again, is going to require some amount of prediction, but I think that the Monopert is actually pretty reasonable in this situation. So he's going to switch out of the way. T-Tar comes in. He's trying to get that in on a Protect turn. I predict that he's going to make some kind of switch. T-Tar being obvious because he probably has HP Grass. And I'm going to kill that with a Surf. And all of a sudden, what was a 5-3 game is now a 3-3 game. And maybe I can come back in this situation. Now I'm going to Protect because I want the lefties. He could take advantage of that in Soft Boiled. If he does, he does. As it turns out, it is a free Protect turn for me because he goes for Seismic Toss. So I sense myself clawing back into this slowly but surely. I think I actually have a shot here. Not a great shot, but a shot. I am clawing my way just barely back into this game. So I land the Toxic. He goes for S-Toss. Again, I'm going to go for Surf as opposed to Protect on that turn because it's an obvious Protect turn for me. He's supposed to go for Soft Boiled. That did not happen, but that was the logic behind that turn. It's once again an obvious Protect turn for me because I would die otherwise, right? Therefore, I should do something other than Protect, which is what I do. I have the balls to instead go for Surf. Had he stayed in Seismic Toss me there, I was dead. But I ended up making the aggressive play. I had a Torrent range Surf. Had I gotten a crit there, which I gave myself an opportunity to do, it would have killed his Swampert, but it did not come. But Surf there was still the right play. So now we are going to exchange Protects. Both get lefties back. He's going to try to roar me out. I've got my Swampert via lefties back up to 41%. Toxic miss there is obnoxious. I really needed that to connect, especially because it's looking like Roar, Protect, Earthquake. Last move on this set is almost always Ice Beam. So if that is the case, that Toxic Mist sucked because Swampert would have no way to remove it. I'd be able to pretty easily stall him out. My Swampert can take Earthquakes and Ice Beams really well, especially with how bulky I am and the fact that I have Protect. So that miss definitely sucked and slowed down my tempo on this comeback that I'm attempting to mount. Moltres is pretty safe here. Ice Beam won't kill me. HP Grass would kill him. The problem here is the Blissey. Now, Blissey's at 53%, so maybe I could do something to her if I can get the T-Tower in or what have you, but it all becomes a mind game at this point. Here's the Bliss. We're going to go for the Will-O-Wisp on the switch. Good chance of that not hitting between the accuracy and the paralysis, but I'm going to connect on the switch. Gets her pretty low to 41%. It's another prediction turn. T-Tar here would be fantastic, but it would die to the spikes plus the Seismic Toss should Tama go for that. And then, of course, if I can get the T-Tar in on a Soft Boil turn, I've got an opportunity to do some real damage. So I am going to go to the T-Tar, trying to get it in on Soft Boiled. Tama's going to predict that. Good prediction for him, so I'm going to lose the T-Tar. So this makes my options really straightforward. Not too many things to think about at this point. It is going to be basically Swampert trying to carry the day. We're in Torrent range here. I have an opportunity for a massive Surf. And once again, on a turn where it's obvious that I should Protect, I have the balls to go for the Surf and make plays. Had I gotten the crit there, Swampert would be dead. So I am once again, just like last week, playing to my outs, giving myself opportunities, and seeing if I can get there. Blissey going to come in at this point. That's going to get hit with the Surf, and that's going to bring it down to 18% after lefties. Once again, we have ourselves a prediction turn. If he's going to Soft Boiled, the right play here for me is obviously Toxic. If he's going to attack, the right play for me is Surf. So it just comes down to what it is that my opponent's going to do. I guess the right play if he's going to Seismic Toss is to Protect, but me protecting on a Soft Boil turn is abysmal. So Protect was not really an option here. It was either Toxic or Surf, and it's based on what I think he's going to do. But if he does go for the soft-boiled route and I do Toxic him, I actually have a pretty good chance to win, I think, because the turn after that I'm obviously going to protect. All of a sudden, Swampert's going to be pretty healthy, and the Blissey, the Arrow, and the Swampert, I think my Swampert beats those 3 pokes. I think my Swampert has a real chance, if I predict correctly / if he predicts incorrectly, to make the comeback and win me this game. So I went for the Surf, he went for the S-Toss. That's going to knock my Swampert low, but it's also going to essentially kill the Blissey because she cannot survive another Surf. So I'm going to go for it. She's going to be down. And here comes the Aerodactyl. This is going to end up being the most crucial turn of the game. I have to protect here. That much is clear. So now it is just a matter of doing a little calc. I see the move that he's on, Double Edge. There's no benefit to switching to Moltres here, because if I do that, not only will I get rocked by the Double Edge and just killed on the subsequent one, but then Swampert would come back in, step on the 3 layers of spikes, and be even lower than he is now. So clearly, my only play is to stay in with Swampert. The question becomes, do I have to protect a second time? So I take a minute at least on this turn in real time, and I do the damage calc. So as you can see, I'm at 34% if it's a Jolly Aerodactyl, because Adamant's a whole nother problem, but if it is a Jolly Aerodactyl, then the roll is between 33 and 39%, meaning my best odds are to go for the double protect. If I stay in, I can survive, but I only have like a 15 or 18% chance to survive, whereas if I simply go for the second protect, that goes up to a 50% chance, which is way higher. If I go for the second protect and I survive, that's going to bring me up with lefties to 40%, and then I'm guaranteed to survive the following attack, and I think I'm in good shape. So the way that that would play out is I would go to 40%, I would go for the, he would double edge me again, I would survive barely at, call it 1% or whatever, I would Torrent Surf to kill the Aerodactyl, that would die, it would come down to Pert on Pert. I would go for probably Protect and then Toxic. I don't know if Toxic hits or not, but the most important thing is my Pert would die shortly thereafter, and then it comes down to the Moltres against the Swampert, who's really low and who, like I said, I think his last move, Ice Beam. So as long as I can avoid full para, Moltres could finish the game with HP Grass. So I see that as my path to victory, and I think there's a pretty reasonable chance. In fact, at this point, basically a 50-50 chance of that happening. So I calc I have to go for the double protect. That's what I do. Unfortunately, I lose the coin flip, and that's more or less the game. The double edge takes me out, and there's nothing I could do at this point. It is Moltres against Aerodactyl. There is nothing I could do, even a Flamethrower crit, even a Flamethrower crit burn. Nothing is going to help me survive here. I went for the hidden power because, like I said, it wouldn't matter what I click. Double edge plus sand is going to be enough. Down goes the Moltres, and Tamahome is going to take it. You know, overall with this game, I lost, so I mean that's not the ideal outcome. But overall with this game, I'm pretty happy. I think I played well. I think I was in a position where most players would have just conceded or said, fuck this is impossible, and mentally given up. I think I was really far behind. I think I did a lot of good things to claw back into this and give myself a chance. And I think I had a really good shot, I mean, considering where I was, to actually win this game in the late game. There were 2 turns that I think were crucial. When he killed the Tyranitar on the switch-in, that was a nice play on his part. Had he not done that, and this is credit to him as opposed to luck or anything, this is him making a good play. But yeah, had he not done that, maybe the T-Tar would have gotten some damage off. But even then, even after he made that play, I think I still had a chance to win. I think even then, in this late game, if I had simply won this 50-50 here on the Protect, which, I mean, it's not luck, right, because we have equal odds, you could even argue it's actually worse than a 50-50 for me, because even if I do win, he still has the opportunity to crit me. So, I mean, you never know. But I think I had a good shot. If I win this 50-50, it comes down to the Moltres on the Pert, and again, there's some variance there too. Maybe the Moltres just fully paras a couple times or whatever. There's things that could happen. But I really truly believe that I played very well in the mid to late game, clawed my way back into a game that I had no business being in because it's a pretty bad matchup. My Gengar is like dead to rights in this matchup. given what kind of Gengar it is and the fact that I don't have Dugtrio. So Gengar's like auto-dead in this matchup, which is the way that it played out. And I think I clawed back in, gave myself a shot, and just came up just short. But I think with different RNG, or if I win that Protect or whatever, I think this was a very, very winnable game. And even though it didn't go my way, I feel good about how I played it. I feel good about my showing. I really do think that I could have won this game. And I would hope that somebody watching this game, thinking about picking me for a future team tour or whatever, would feel decent about my ability or the fact that I played this well and would consider picking me up for a tour. That's my hope anyway. But I mean, sometimes after losses you feel like crap. Sometimes you go, man, I played like shit. I threw that game. I suck at this game, whatever. After this loss, I wasn't feeling that way. I felt like I played well. I felt like I gave myself chances and almost made the comeback. However, as I've said a million times, shoulda, woulda, coulda, I didn't win. So my record is going to be 1-2 in this SPL. There's only 1 week to go. I have no idea if I am the starter for Week 9. If so, it'll be against BKC, and that'll be an exciting match. And if not, no big deal. 3 chances is cool. 1-2 is not where I want to be, but honestly, all 3 games I think could have gone either way. Against Marco, could have gone either way. Against Alexander, I won, but I should have lost probably. And this one I think could have gone either way as well. At this level, at the SPL level, when you have really good players, it's always tight. It really, truly can go either way. It was fun. GG Tama, he played well, as he always does. And I hope I get to bring you one more SPL game, but if not, I appreciate you guys watching these. Let me know in the comments if you liked it. See you guys soon.